Up until March 2010, I had a really, really active, healthy lifestyle. I worked overseas for a year, taught scuba diving in Thailand. I'm also a marathon runner. I've run marathons and half marathons and 10Ks. And I really, really enjoy going hill walking with friends in Scotland as well. I considered myself to be really, really active socially. I would go out with my friends every weekend, and I really, really enjoyed life. I had a great life. My life changed out of the blue. In the morning, I'd actually been in the gym. I'd spent 2 hours working out, and then I spent the afternoon seeing clients. And 5 o'clock on the 3rd of March on 2010, I drove home. Now, about 10 minutes away from the office, approaching a junction, I had a massive seizure. And really, this has changed my life tremendously.
Once we'd had the diagnosis, and it was apparent that he had a tumour which was probably operable, then, of course, not relief, but something kicks in to say, well, thank goodness he had the forethought to take out the critical illness cover. It's the monetary side of it really isn't a prime factor. It's just the relief that it takes such a pressure off him allowing himself to get better, to take time off from work. It helps the family enormously. It helped us because we're in a partnership. He and I and my partner, we're all in a partnership together. So there was never any pressure on Greg to feel he would have to rush back to work because he had critical illness cover.
Probably worse was for my family. They went from having a young, fit and healthy son to having a son whose future no one really knew, and who was in hospital and who was awaiting several months of tests at this point.
Due to what's happened to Greg and the feelings he had prior to the seizure about critical illness, it just emphasises how very, very important critical illness is. From the youngest person to the oldest, everyone should have it. I can't stress how important it is. It alleviates so much stress and pressure on a family. If someone at the age of, 30, 32 as Greg was, or even in their 20s, I just don't see how anyone can do without critical illness cover.
With the claims process through Zurich being so easy to deal with, this meant that there was a huge reduction in stress for me at that point of time. It was a really worrying time for me with the problems I had medically, and I felt that because Zurich were working on my side, it just felt that life would be a lot easier and a lot simpler. The monies were paid so quickly, it took a huge weight off my shoulders. I felt I could concentrate purely on my medical situation. I didn't need to worry about my financial situation at that point. Prior to me suffering the critical illness, I would have considered myself to be the last person who would actually suffer this condition. I think this is very similar to a lot of young people. I'm not invincible. I've suffered this condition. Other people, unfortunately, will suffer these conditions as well. For the cost of the protection for life cover, critical illness or income protection, I don't think people can have an excuse not to take this out.
With regards to Greg's future health, that's completely out of our hands. But the future is looking very rosy. Financially, he is secure. He is happy in his work, in his home life. And really, that's more than we can ask for.